everybody. Welcome to the stream. If this is your first supporter Q&A, welcome. These are always pretty low-key, just kind of hanging out. A couple supporters are usually in the chat, as you see Jai Wilkins. First of all, thank you so much for the first super chat of the stream before the stream even technically began. Thank you so much for the support tonight, man. And Mr. Jason, it's always good to see you as well. Mr. St. Jake and Jai Wilkins. Welcome to the stream, guys. And everybody else that's listening to this and watching the stream right now, thanks for tuning in. So these supporter Q&As, the questions come from Patreon, and then channel supporters, sponsors, fleet members are able to chit-chat in the chat when they pop in and out of the chat. So, yeah, welcome, guys. Like I said, these are always super low-key, and I always just sip on some coffee and hang out and drink a little bit of water and, you know, read some questions from Patreon, and sometimes I go down rabbit holes and I just like end up reading some articles, and this is like the most hangout live stream the channel ever has. So thank you for tuning in. And as always, if the music is too loud, let me know. If you're a supporter, I guess, because it's locked. Jai Wilkins, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support this evening, man. I greatly appreciate that. How you been, Papa Greedo? It's been good. Today's Father's Day. We went to the pool yesterday. We went to the beach. Yesterday was my wife's birthday. Today was Father's Day. So it's been a lot of hours in the sun this weekend, and I love it. I love going to the beach. Love going to the pool. My daughter has a blast. I took her into the ocean for the first time. She's been to the beach before, but never like in the ocean because she's always been a little too young and it's always been a little too chilly. Yeah, this time it was pretty fun. We kind of sat in the water as the waves broke against us, and obviously I was super careful. But yeah, right back at you, man. So, let's see. I appreciate that, Jai, once again. So I believe there's like 15 or so questions from Patreon. This is so late in the month. Normally, I do the supporter Q&As within the first week of the month, or usually try to do it around the first. This is almost more than halfway through the month, just because we moved. I was out of town for almost a week, and it's just been complete chaos trying to settle in and figure out a new routine and schedule in a new place, and yeah, just hectic, man. I'm fucking worn out constantly. But all right, cool. So let's hop into some Patreon questions, shall we? The first question from Patreon comes from Ari Pavara. I butcher names left and right, so I'm sure I got it wrong this time. If you want to phonetically spell it for me next time I do a supporter Q&A, I would love to phonetically read it. How about that? Do I really sound worn out? That's hilarious, man. I'm fucking exhausted, but it's good. Been busy. I take pictures sometimes for free, like as freelance. Sometimes clients have a shitload of stuff that I need to take pictures of. So I just got done editing like 400 pictures a couple hours ago. I try to do quick turnarounds, you know, with my photos, and sometimes when I promise too quick of a turnaround, right, based off of the quantity that I've been scheduled to take, so I just end up killing myself trying to edit like hundreds of pictures, and I just promise too short of a deadline. You know, I might have to change that, but that's kind of what sets. I don't know. Some people. I don't know. Anyway, I'm exhausted. Ari, thank you so much for the super chat or not super chat. Ari, thank you for the question, man. The first question from Patreon comes from Ari, and it says, "Do you think we will ever get an episode 10 or any more movie in the Skywalker saga? If we were getting more movies in the Skywalker saga, would it have to be a trilogy?" The last part of that question, I would say yes. I think it would have to be a trilogy, but I don't necessarily think that episode 10, if they do an episode 10, and I think in the long term, and in the 30, 40, 50 years from now even, I would be very surprised if we did not see an episode 10. Does episode 10 have to be about the Skywalkers? No, it doesn't. I mean, you think that far into the future, in terms of real world future. 40 years from now, let's say. Like we're looking back at A New Hope, right? 40 years ago, we got A New Hope. 40 years from now, I'm guessing that there will be more Star Wars movies, and I would be very surprised if we did not have an episode 10. I know they said the Skywalker saga is over. I know they, yada, 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 all that shit. But in 20, 30, 40 years, a whole new crew is going to be in charge of Star Wars. And I would be very, very surprised if they sat around with their thumbs up their asses and sat on their hands and did not want to continue the episodic films. I mean, if you were now in control of Star Wars, wouldn't you want to continue on? So, I would be very surprised if we've seen the last of the episodic films, Ari. And I would be willing to bet that in the distant future, whatever you consider distant future, we will get an episode 10. But who knows? Who knows, man? I appreciate the question. It's interesting. Like I said, episode 10 doesn't necessarily have to be about the Skywalkers, right? In the distant future, who knows? Right back at you, AT. Happy Father's Day to you as well. Greedo, you seen or interested in quote-unquote my friend Pedro? Is that a movie? I don't believe I've heard of it. Let's see. My friend Pedro. Oh, games. My friend Pedro is an upcoming shoot-'em-up video game developed by Dead Toast Entertainment and published by Devolver Digital. The game is set to be released on 20 June. Oh, a couple days from now. I've never heard of this. Let me see. Oh, yes. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I've seen a trailer for this. I didn't know it was called this. Interesting. Yeah, it looks ridiculously fun. It kind of reminds me of like these old Stickman games that I used to play way back in the day. So, yeah, I'll probably end up picking it up. It seems like just a fun kind of like veg out couch, trying to fall asleep, shoot 'em up kind of game. So, yeah, I'd like to check it out for sure. What's up, Wayfez? Let's see. All right, let me scroll up a little bit. The next question from Patreon comes from Paul Robinson, and Paul is an old school HG supporter. I mean, he's been way before The Force Awakens. So I appreciate you sticking around all these years, Paul. Hope you're doing well, man. Okay. Maybe it is exactly what I'm thinking of then, Jive. Interesting. Paul Robinson says, LA? ? Awesome. So will you be trying to get in the absolute shit fight that will be the queues at Galaxy's Edge, or just wait for your native one in August? And that aside, what's the one thing in Cali you're most excited to see or do? As always, my best to the family, and look forward to hearing your tales when you're back, big man. So I did go to Galaxy's Edge, thanks to EA. EA, obviously, I don't know if most people know this, but I'm an EA game changer, along with a lot of other, there's a lot of other YouTubers and stuff like that are EA game changers, and there's kind of a smaller group of us who are Star Wars related EA game changers. So we all went out there and played a little bit of Jedi Fallen Order, got our hands on it for a couple minutes each, and then we gave feedback and Battlefront and stuff like that, a lot of criticism. So they flew us out there and they said, hey, you guys want to go to Disneyland? And we didn't think we would be able to get into Galaxy's Edge. Even the developers, even the people that were like the community managers did not think that we'd be able to get into Galaxy's Edge. It worked out though. And I was pleasantly surprised. And to tell you the truth, Paul, it wasn't bad at all. The lines and stuff like that. So the way they do it is perfect right now, and they're getting rid of this system, which I'm nervous about, Paul. But right now, you have to have a reservation in order to sorry, let me turn my phone on just in case I'm being too loud. There we go. You have to have a reservation in order to get into Galaxy's Edge. So if you can buy a ticket to Disneyland, and then you have to reserve a spot in the Galaxy's Edge. There's a limited amount of spots. and they let people in for 4-hour chunks of time. So you might be with the first group or the second group or the third group, but those groups get 4 hours in the park. And then, then they let the next group in once the previous group is over. And that really, really helps with the crowd. I never had to wait. I rode the Millennium Falcon ride twice. Never had to wait for longer than 20, 25 minutes for it. I was expecting hours. So I was wrong, Paul. Initially, I said, I'm going to wait a few years to go to Galaxy's Edge. But the time to go, if you're looking for the least amount of people in the Star Wars land, is now, because they restrict the amount of people. So I really think, like, this reservation system, you will never see this few amount of people in Galaxy's Edge ever again. Does that make sense? Anyway, I went there, I didn't really have time for anything else, Paul, other than kind of like EA Play and hanging out in the Creators Cave and stuff like that. So I didn't really get to explore much. Hollywood and LA, Hollywood. I've never really had much of a desire to go there. It was just kind of a pleasant trip to play some games and check out EA Play. What I would really like to do if I ever get a chance to go back is set aside some time to go to like a Paramount or Universal Studio tour, because they're only like $60, and I think that'd be pretty interesting. As somebody who's really into this shit, I think it'd be absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. Next time I go, maybe I'll request a little bit more time, and I'll pay for my own hotel for a few days. How about that? Explore a little bit more, right? Wayfez, hey Greedo, do you think you're going to win the Shill Awards on Twitter? I guess I hope so. I don't know what the criteria is, man. I feel like I'm one critical son of a bitch. But I just think some people are, I don't know. Some people see a Stormtrooper helmet in a Star Wars YouTube channel, and unless you're making photoshopped images of Mickey Mouse with devil horns and droopy eyeballs and giant lizard tongue, then you must be a giant supporter. But I'd be honored, man. Why not? Silly sons of fucking bitches. Will Thompson, thank you so much for the not super chat. Patron question tonight. I'm gonna have to scroll up a little bit more for this one. Listen, I know. Don't follow the rumors, the leaks, the fake news. Ignore them. But this is hard. This is JJ. I'm reading what Will typed. Will typed. This is JJ Abrams. I feel like this could be true, knowing JJ and how much he can surprise us. I really feel that that only JJ could pull this off. No one else. He is the master of the mystery box, and this would be crazy. So, answer me this: could we see? Oh, Jesus. Could we see Mecha Luke in The Rise of Skywalker? I feel like it could be true. I'd actually love to see it. And I know, don't follow the leaks because of the bullshit formula. But come on, we all know we'd all like to see it. Seriously, what are your thoughts on this leak? On a scale of true to slightly more definitely true, what are the odds we see this actually happen? I'd be satisfied. I think it's true, Will. I think it's true. Mecha Luke is coming, man. 16 lightsabers. I mean, have you ever seen something so fucking badass? I mean, it's so fucking badass. He shoots missiles out of his shoulders. He's got a huge scraggly beard full of spiders. He has Wolverine claws. His knees are landmines. His nipples are lasers. He's fucking Mecha Luke. Sometimes, Will, I need to read these questions before, because I probably could have had a really good answer to that. But no. I mean, it would be hilarious to start that rumor though, and just know that I created Mecha Luke, and then people like start getting excited because they think I'm like an actual Mech Luke is coming to the films. Oh, I love it. Anyway, Will, don't feed the bullshit unless it's that kind of bullshit. Unless we're having a little bit of fun satire humor, huh? I'd be down for it. Cool. I appreciate that, Will. Appreciate the support. Oh, man. I got a little sunburn today. Maybe not. Maybe not. I think it's more of the sand. I think it's more of just this itchy sand. All right. The next question comes from Fifi Gable over on Patreon. Hey, HG. How's it hanging? Did you happen to catch Star Wars Explained video that mentioned kintsugi? The Japanese art of transformative repair with regards to the repair of Kylo Ren's helmet. The SWTOR podcast discusses this, and it's fascinating. Highly recommend. I just finished watching episode 1 through 6 in machete order. I know, late to the party, but I finally did do it. It definitely gives a pretty good emotional punch in Return of the Jedi, especially the combo between Luke and Vader and the cameo of the cutie pie Anakin Force Ghost. Have you watched it in that order? 4, 5, 2, 3, 6. No, I've never watched it in machete order. I haven't, Fifi. For whatever reason, I understand why people... Is the music too loud? Let me turn it down a little bit. It seems maybe too loud. I understand why people watch them in that order. I'm sure there is some, benefits to watching it in that order. But for whatever reason, man, I've never had much of a desire to watch them in that order. And it's not that I don't think I would enjoy it. I think it's just that I don't think I would get anything out of it. Maybe if I was watching the films for the first time, it would be an interesting kind of order to watch them in, maybe. But knowing everything that happens and stuff like that, I don't know if I would actually get anything out of watching them in that order. Could be wrong. Could make me look at them in a different light. Make me kind of, I don't know, see things a little differently. Who knows? But yeah, I've never heard of, I have not seen their video, and I haven't ever listened to the SWTOR podcast, I don't think. Let me look this up. Kintsugi. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Also known as blah, 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 is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer, dusted, or mixed or similar to... Oh, my wife, I've heard of this. I didn't know this was what it was called. My wife works with somebody from Japan, and she's only been in the States for like 5 years or so. And she was actually talking about this. This is interesting. All right. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, Fifi. I'm not going to research it right now, but I'm going to definitely check out Star Wars Explained's video on that, and if it's something that maybe I could put even a different spin on it, or something like that. If it's something that I find really fascinating, I might even make it into a video myself. I never like to. One of the reasons that I kind of avoid watching everybody's YouTube videos, their most topical and new YouTube videos at least, is because I want to be the least amount of influenced by everybody else that I'm kind of in the same circle as. Does that make sense? Because I feel like if I watch somebody's video this week, then I would want to make a video on that same topic, and I kind of don't want to fall into that trap of making a bunch of the same shit as everybody else. Does that make sense? So I usually like to back catalog people's videos. I don't know. I could see myself falling into that and almost doing like parallel thinking in a way, but not parallel thinking because I've seen something. And does that make sense in any way? Like accidental plagiarism? Anyway, Fifi, I appreciate you bringing that to my attention, and I will certainly check out that video. All right. Scrolling up. Let me take a quick sip of coffee as well. Definitely. There you go, Jason. Yeah, sometimes, man, I don't know if, like, things make sense in my brain, but then I get done speaking my sentences, And I'm like, oh shit, did I just mumble? I just mumble for 2 minutes and nobody understood. Is everybody sitting there like with the dumbest face on their expression on their face right now? Because I sound like an idiot. All right. The next question comes from... Oh. And I just spilled coffee everywhere. Great. One sec. Son of a bitch. I don't have anything to clean it. One sec. Let me... I'm going to clean it up with my blanket. Alright. At least I didn't get it on my new keyboard. Or my mortgage papers. That could have been bad. Oh, it did get on my mortgage. Oh no, it got on my Kindle. Oh no, it's not that bad. Okay. Alright. Very professional. Very professional. Howard Stern never spills his coffee. Very, very professional. PewDiePie never spills his coffee. Very, very professional. Alright, where was I? The next question comes from Devin Godfrey from Patreon. Hey, Greedo. I'm going to have to scroll up a little bit on this one as well. How's it going? Hope you have a great time in Los Angeles. I know I never comment during these Q&A live streams, but I definitely try and watch live. And if I'm unable to, I'll watch it when it gets posted onto YouTube. So thank you for posting them on your channel afterwards. Anyways, my question for this month is the following. YouTuber Ivan Ortega is in the process of re-editing the entirety of The Last Jedi to tone down the humor and change a few things here and there. Luke has a green lightsaber on Crate. The Resistance suspects a spy on the Raddus, etc. Would you have an interest in seeing this re-edit when it comes out? I'll leave the main trailer of it right here in case you haven't seen it. I don't recall you ever talking about it, so I'm just curious if you have any thoughts. Devin, some people, let me scroll up a little bit so maybe somebody can see that link. Not that they can click it, but I guess they can copy, or no, I guess they can type it? Or they can Google it. How about that? No, you're not the first person to actually bring this to my attention. Well, the first thing that I thought when I walked out of the theater after seeing The Last Jedi was, man, I want to see a fan edit of this. I want it to be trimmed down a little bit. I would like to see a lot of the fat cut off. That's basically what I said in my very first video, my first review video. And I actually haven't watched any fan edits of it in the past. It's been a year and a half, right? Yeah, about a year. And I haven't watched any fan edits. I don't know if any completed ones are out. I'm assuming some are out. I'm assuming some. But Devin, some people have recommended let me find this, the Ivan Ortega cut, I guess you would call it. I haven't seen any trailer yet. I just know that it exists, and when it comes out, I guess you're alluding that it's not out yet, because you said seeing this re-edit when and if it comes out. Yeah, I would love to when it comes out. Absolutely. I love that kind of shit. I love when fans put their own spin on things in Star Wars. That goes back decades of fans tinkering and toying with the films, and I love that kind of stuff. Whether it's fan films or complete re-edits, I really dig all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm sure once it's out, like you said, Devin, if it comes out, when it comes out, I'm sure everybody will tell me all about it on Twitter and my live streams and all that kind of stuff, and I think it would be very hard to miss it when that happens. But yeah, you probably haven't heard me talk about it before, just because it is kind of a rare thing that gets brought up on my streams here and there. Maybe once every couple times a month, I would say. Couple times a month. But yeah, man, I'll definitely check it out. I still haven't watched the trailer for it. I know some people have linked me to it before, I believe, but yeah, I'll check it out for sure. And I appreciate you tuning in to the the Q&A there, Devin. You should check them out more often. They're always fun. They're always low key, right? I dig them. And sometimes I get really, really interesting and really neat questions. So tune in, Devin. The next question comes from Ryan Harp. Hey, HG, hope you had fun in Los Angeles. I didn't really have time to explore the city when I went to Disneyland in October 2017. Blah, 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 blah. When I ordered TLJ tickets and I got a poster, still have it nice. But hopefully I'll have time for it when I go back to Disneyland for my birthday in November. Anyway, my question is about your book, and no, it's not about when it's coming out. My question is this: what was your favorite part of writing the book? Ooh, interesting. I can't wait to read all about your crazy life and Star Wars. Not that crazy, man. Thanks for being awesome. Well, I appreciate that, Ryan. That's a cool question. It's done. That's the thing. Oh, one sec. Oh, nice, Devin. 1 sec, Ryan. Devin, thank you so much for tuning in live tonight. I appreciate that, man. That's cool. That's cool to know. Dude, I wish I could merge the Patreon system and the YouTube system so patrons could chat in this chat. I don't think they will ever merge the two systems, unfortunately, but because it would be great. It would be great if it was just kind of a two. I could I don't know, kind of like how you link accounts with like Discord or Streamlabs and stuff like that, your YouTube accounts. It would be awesome if you could link your YouTube account with Patreon. But I guess Patreon is kind of a competitor to YouTube. Anyway, I appreciate you tuning in live tonight, Devin. And yeah, stick around, man. I'll see you on the next one as well. But Ryan, so the question you had was, what was my favorite part of writing the book? So it's done. It's completely done. The paperback is done. The only thing that's holding me back is recording the audiobook. I only need, I believe, 2 chapters to go. To record that. And I thought about it the other day. I was like, why don't you just release the paperback first and just whatever. And then when you get around to doing the audiobook, do that. But I might end up doing that because I just find that I don't really have time to sit down and record like an hour of audio. And I could not stream one night and do that. But I don't know. I like streaming, and sitting there isolated for an hour and just reading a script is just kind of monotonous and boring to me. And then it takes like 2 or 3 hours to edit that audio, and a little bit of a part of me is like, just, it feels like work. You know what I mean? And I know that sounds stupid, but I like streaming more than recording my book. My favorite part of writing, probably, Ryan, was kind of, I don't know. I think the first chapter, the origin story, it's called, was fun to write just because it's all over the place. It's all over the place. And then one of my other favorite chapters was just about my time in the Navy, because it was just me kind of freely just, I don't know, just in my own head, kind of trying to remember really hard events and the feelings of being out to sea and boot camp and stuff like that. The hardest thing to write was actually the chapter being a dad. I still am not satisfied with that chapter, but I don't like that chapter because it's too, I don't know. It's hard to put it all into words, and I feel like the words just don't really do the feeling justice. Does that make sense? And I'm just not happy with it, but I gotta settle. I gotta settle. Because it's not gonna get any better. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I can't find the words to describe what it feels like to be a dad. And I think the chapter will forever just be a letdown for me. You know what I mean? Anyway. But, yeah, I didn't really have much time to explore the city either, Ryan. I was surprised how kind of, it's dirty the right word? Been to a lot of cities in my life, and LA was probably one of the kind of dirtiest. I was even the guys not from the States in our group were like, is it me or just is this a super fucking dirty city? It's like, yeah, it's pretty dirty compared to most cities that I've been to. But yeah, next time, Ryan. Next time I'd like to explore for sure. Did I just pull that down? There we go. Alright, cool. Let me scroll up here. Jai Wilkins, John Helder, rather. What's up, Lord? Good to see you, man. Alright. Jai Wilkins has the next question on the old Patreon. Jai says, hey, Greedo, are there any non-Star Wars games you've ever really thought about playing on stream or even just covering it on YouTube videos? Yeah, dude, there's been a lot. There's games like Surviving Mars that I would love to play. There's a ton. There's a ton of games. And I've streamed like The Division 2 a couple times, mainly really, really early in the morning, like 5 in the morning. And I found, it's really interesting, Jai. I found that whenever I stream non-Star Wars games, nobody, nobody watches, nobody really cares. I get it, I have a Star Wars YouTube channel, but a part of me wishes that I had, kind of a more broad gaming channel. And maybe I'll start a secondary one, but I just don't see any point now. But dude, there's a ton of games that I would love to stream. I even thought about streaming like Minecraft with Star Wars mods and shit like that, or you know what I mean. They're streaming other games that kind of relate to Star Wars in a bit, or even MMOs. I would love to stream more MMOs. I think those would be a really fun, just kind of games to stream because they can be pretty laid back, right? You can walk around the cities. And I've always wanted to stream Star Trek Online, to tell you the truth. I've played it a lot. I've never streamed it. So, yeah, man, there's a bunch. There's a bunch of games. Pretty much every game that I play, I would love to stream at some point. My wife actually got me Rocket League because for Father's Day, because I've talked about like wanting to play a fun game together. We're living, some of you might not know this, but we sold our house and we are building a new house, and it's going to take 6 to 7 months. So in that time frame, in the 6 to 7 months that our new house is going to be built, we're actually living with my folks. So I have my Xbox hooked up to my giant ass TV in a bedroom, and we're wanting to play some video games. Or I'm wanting to play some video games. And she was looking up fun co-op games to play. She got Rocket League, which I'm pretty goddamn excited about. It looks fun. Even something like that, I would be fun to stream, But yeah, is there anything stopping you from playing those games with us? I'm sure a lot of us would like to play with you. Also, ever thought of doing co-op games with either the audience or someone else? Yeah, I used to do that a lot, Jai. I used to play PUBG with a bunch of different people. I used to have Saturday SWTOR Day, which was basically the Old Republic. We would have a shitload of people playing the Old Republic in the server, and we would hang out in the Stronghold. I used to do a lot of that kind of stuff before my daughter came along. So I wish I had more time for that, but really I've kind of restricted myself. I've put boundaries on myself to where I don't really want to stream longer than an hour, and I really want to utilize my streams as more of a kind of a chit-chat podcast, and I really want to pay attention to the chat rather than pay attention to the games. Now, obviously, there's going to be exceptions to that rule. I would love to get back into Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic and all that kind of stuff where I focus more on the game. But I've put restrictions on myself in order to be able to hang out with my wife, hang out with my daughter. Like an hour is all I have allowed myself to stream each day, and it's usually when my daughter is having a bottle and being rocked to bed. So that kind of time period where she's zonked out, about to go to sleep, is what I've allowed myself to utilize for streaming. I work on the channel. I wake up, I have my alarm set at 5 in the morning every morning. That's when I like write videos and work on the channel stuff, like the video stuff. So I wish I had more time to play all those different kind of games, learn all those different kind of games, but I've put restrictions on myself, and I don't want to I don't know, I want to utilize these live streams as more of a chit chat, if that makes sense. I know it probably sounds weird as fuck, but that's just kind of how I've looked at it in my brain. I don't know. Does that make sense at all? Yeah, co-op streams would be fun for sure. That's true, Jai. That'd be kind of fun. I might try that one day. Never thought to do that. But yeah, that might be fun. Oh, man. I forgot I had water. That was good. All right. The next question on Patreon comes from... Let me scroll up here. John Helder. John says, "Hey HG, on May the 4th, the wife and I saw a screening of Empire Strikes Back accompanied by a full symphony orchestra. The orchestra was seated in front of a huge screen and played through the score as the movie rolled. I have to say it was an amazing experience. The conductor was also great, and he encouraged the 2,000 or so people in the crowd to get involved by cheering for our favorite characters and parts of the movie." That's awesome. Anyway, I watched your video on the decline of $1 theaters, and I think you also mentioned how modern-day theaters may become more interactive in the future. This made me think of my orchestra experience and how fun it was having an involved and engaged crowd. This experience can't be replicated at home, which gives me hope for theaters if they can go down the interactive route. I'm not saying full-blown orchestras and conductors, maybe some kind of host, maybe some live instruments, I don't know, but I'm sure some smart people out there will come up with something. No, I completely agree, and I think I said something like that, either interactive or offer different experiences or unique items, all this kind of... It's going to be... Going to see a movie in the future, I think, in order to compete with home viewing, it's going to have to be a much more... I don't know, an event, a bigger experience, if that makes sense. But yeah, let's see. What were you saying? I actually saw something very similar, John. I saw A New Hope with an orchestra. Oh, no, I didn't. I take that back. I wanted to see A New Hope. I actually saw Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, with an orchestra, which was awesome. And then I saw Home Alone with an orchestra, which was equally awesome. So... I would love to see more of those, but I think your head is exactly in the right spot when it comes to in the future needing to find something that sets the theater going experience apart from the home viewing experience, right? And like you said, I don't know how to do it. Maybe some kind of virtual reality thing. Maybe it's some big interactive thing with heat and smells and fire and who knows. But I think the ease of entertainment on your couch is going to put a big hurt forever and ever on the kind of communal movie-going experience. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just, you know, just kind of the march of I guess progress. I don't know. It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Anyway, I appreciate it, John. Caleb Kim, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. I greatly appreciate that. Perfect name for second game channel. Greedo shoots first. I love it. I love it. If I didn't just move in or move and lose all of my papers, I used to have a notepad right in my right hand drawer where it was just full of a bunch of ideas. I would write it down. But I'm going to let's see if that's already taken. It's probably going to be taken right after the stream, right? YouTube.com/Greedo shoots first. Yep. It's taken. Greedo shoots first. YouTube channel, Greedo shoots first. I like that though. I could turn that into something. Yeah, for sure. Greedo shoots first. With a 1 instead of an I for leet speak. I like that, Caleb. I mean, what would be the benefit of me doing a second gaming channel? You know, I don't know. I know it would allow me, but I've never, the thing is, I've never felt restricted on this channel. I've never felt like I've restricted myself on what I can and can't play, or what I can and can't talk about. I make fucking videos on, I don't know, Fallout 76, or I make videos on leadership, you know, random topics sometimes. So I've never felt like, I've never felt restricted. I think the only reason that this channel is usually just straight Star Wars is nothing more than the fact that I don't have much time to branch out into other subjects or make videos that there's always something in Star Wars to talk about. There's always new news. There's always something going on in the fandom. There's always, you know, games to stream, whatever, around Star Wars. So I think my focus, just because of a time situation, a time issue, my focus is just kind of like pinpointed on Star Wars right now. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but ooh, my stomach. For Father's Day, I grilled some burgers and hot dogs. My mom made some mac and cheese, some onion rings. I ate really shitty this weekend. Really shitty. All right. The next question comes from Grand Shock Trooper. Would you consider George Lucas a good filmmaker? Yeah. American Graffiti, THX. Give me 1 second. Hold on. There we go. American Graffiti, THX. 1138. I used to watch, as a kid, I used to watch those all the time. I probably haven't seen those movies. I'm 33 now. I'm not even joking. I probably haven't seen them in 20 years. Which is crazy to me. But I can remember THX a little more than American Graffiti. Shit, what was I saying? So, yeah, I would. The thing is, like, he's a much different filmmaker now. When he made, like, Red Tails or the prequels or stuff like that, I think a lot of the times filmmakers, just kind of like musicians or artists, when they're young and inventive and risk-taking and, they're kind of sticking it to the system, that's when their most creative work comes out. I think that's kind of true for a lot of different genres or art forms. And I think the older people get, and this isn't just George Lucas, but just you look at musicians are a big thing, kind of comparison here. But the older you get, the more set in your ways I think a lot of people become, and the less risky they become with their art, or less they kind of get a little formulaic. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely would, Grand Shock. I definitely would. What's up, Chris? Happy Father's Day. Well, I appreciate that, man. I am... Whew. Maybe I shouldn't have had all those burgers and hot dogs. My stomach is a little upset there, guys. Collabs with other gaming YouTubers. Yeah, I would love to do more collaborations in general. I never asked to do any. Me and Eckert's Ladder talked about doing some collaborations while we were at EA Play. We were hanging out in my room, and it was awesome. Like, we were just hanging out, having some beers, and just watching the Raptors game and just shooting the shit for like an hour. It was fun. And I think we're gonna do a collaboration at some point. I just don't know what to do, but yeah, for sure, eventually. And I never like to ask to do collaborations, because I never, especially with channels that are much bigger than mine, I don't want them to think that I'm just trying to like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? That's why I would rather huge YouTubers be on my channel, because I don't want them to think that I'm just trying to take advantage of their numbers and their status, if that makes sense. Maybe that's a little neurotic. But yeah. Sully Hogs, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support this evening, man. I greatly appreciate that. My man, on today's question of the day on Discord, we asked what people's favorite FPS was. What's yours? Oh, hands down, Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 is my all-time favorite FPS. I love the narrative. I loved it was one of the first games that like legitimately made me realize how far graphics have come. I remember seeing, like, when I first got Half-Life 2, when it first came out, like the day it came out, I remember going to this, I think it was CompUSA with my dad, and we got it. And I remember looking at like the water effects, and I remember looking at the physics, and I was just like, holy shit, games have come so far. And that was kind of the first time that a game really made me pause and realize how insane graphics could come. Now you look back at it and it looks archaic, but dude, like, I just remember being completely blown away by the game. Everything about the game. I loved it. And not only the game, but everything that spawned from the game. Half-Life and Day of Defeat, the source mods, just the SDK and Team Fortress and all these different games and more updated versions of those games. And it was just, I loved it. I loved the narrative of the game. I loved the mechanics of the game, and I loved what the game allowed the community to do. It allowed the community to make their own shit, Anyway, I appreciate that question, Sully. I would love. Obviously, my most wished for game is Half-Life 3, but I don't know if we'll ever get it, man. I'm sure at some point, maybe, but we'll see. The next question comes from 6 Foot Piss Radius. Hey, Greedo, I'm sure you've answered this somewhere, before, but this will just be, or set the record straight. Has watching the Clone Wars changed the prequels for you in any way? If yes, then how so? And did it change it for the better? Thanks as always. Shaka bra. One sec, Sully. Not Sully. One sec, 6 Foot. Oh my goodness, my stomach, guys. Oh, Father's Day burgers and hot dogs was not. Oh my goodness. All right, I'll power through. I'm gonna power through here. Let me take a quick sip of water. I like the question, 6 Foot. Yes, so it's made me not necessarily like the prequel movies, the films themselves anymore than I did, or than I didn't. It's made me appreciate the era more, just because it's given more context for things. We've gotten more time with heroes and villains, and I think it's probably true with any non-film material in any franchise or video game or whatever. But you have 6 seasons, soon to be 7, with these characters, and you just get to know them more, and you see motivations for villains. You see kind of the broad picture of things and how it all comes into play. So it has made me appreciate the prequels more. It doesn't, in terms of like the films themselves, the meat and potatoes of the films, the filmmaking, all that kind of stuff. No, it hasn't made me change my mind on that aspect, but from a narrative perspective, from a broad picture, from a kind of understanding the I don't know, the kind of civil war of it all, the separatists, the factions of it all. I really enjoyed that aspect, to see kind of like the chess pieces moving along the galaxy. If that makes sense, but I appreciate that question, man. All right. Oh, wrong thing. All right, guys. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back. Alright guys, sorry. There we go. So, we couldn't find the third cat. So, how do I put this? I've said this multiple times, but we're building a new house. We sold our old house. We're living with my folks now. We have 3 cats that we brought into my parents' home, and they don't know where the we're trying to integrate them with the pets that they already have. So we let them explore the house, you know, for a couple hours a day, and then eventually we'll integrate them all together. And we had a hard time finding the third cat. It was actually my late mother-in-law's cat. But we found her in the most obvious spot. She was laying on a chair underneath the kitchen table, so just couldn't see her. Anyway, don't have very many questions to go. The next question comes... I appreciate everybody's patience. How long was that? That was a long time. Seriously, how long ago was that? Is there a way to see time? Anyway. Alright, guys. The next question comes from the Movie Critic Dude. Good to see you as always, Movie Critic Dude. HG, hope you had an awesome time at EA Play. I've been busy myself for some time, but it's trimmed down a bit. So anyway, my question is for Battlefront 2. Have you heard all the new updates such as droidicas finally being added, Felucia map for CS, a familiar Republic tank from original Battlefront 2, and Clone Wars Anakin skin? So many good stuff later this month. Yeah, man, I love that. I love that they're kind of incorporating a lot of Clone Wars era stuff, obviously, into the game. They have been for quite a long time now. And it's ultimately a good thing. It's kind of, in terms of, I don't know, well, obviously the Battlefront 2015 game had none of that. So I like that it's almost like they're kind of making up for this era that so many people love. It's not my favorite era, but obviously people love it, and I'm just glad that a certain segment of Star Wars fans and gamers are getting, you know, the kind of content and the kind of stuff that they really want out of Star Wars games, you know. And this isn't it. This isn't it. You know, there's a lot of awesome shit on the horizon. And who the hell knows where it goes from here. But I like it, man. I like that people have been thinking that droidicas were going to be in the game for a very long time. There was never any confirmation, and then all of a sudden, boom. Confirmation. It's awesome. I'm excited to see what else they implement in the game in the future, you know. One sec, guys. Texting. This is just bad timing all around. I apologize. There we go. Alright. The next question comes from... That was 5 hours. That was a long time. Did I fall asleep? Did I go through a time warp? The next question comes from Christopher Garcia. Apologies if this has been asked before. Haven't gotten around to watching all the previous Q&As. There's a lot of them, man. But I was wondering, if you could make one canon change to any Star Wars story, movie, show, etc., what would it be? I.e. plot point, character inclusion, dialogue, design, even a small detail from a comic series. I know you tend to be pretty chill and not interested in rewriting story, just because you disagree with it, but as a fan, I'm curious. That's a good way to put it too, Chris. But as a fan, I'm curious if there's ever been something that's irked you that you kind of wish never happened. Yes. I think that my go-to... Well... I think the one thing that I would have liked to kind of see, and I would have liked to... I think it would have made things a little more cohesive, was I wish Darth Maul wasn't killed off in Episode 1. I think it would have been more, for me at least, I think it would be more interesting to kind of have him as a main villain through the prequels. Because, you know, we had a lot of villains in the prequels, and some of them fell flat with me, and a lot of, well, the Clone Wars TV show definitely highlights them more and gives you 6 seasons worth of kind of backstory and motivations and kind of shows you more about those characters. But I would have loved for Darth Maul to kind of survive through the prequel trilogy and be the main adversary, be the main bad guy, have a bigger role in the entire kind of arc of that trilogy. You know, that's probably the one thing that I would want, kind of, as you put it, rewritten. And who knows how that would have worked out, but I think it would have made things a little more focused. I don't know. The thing is, I like a lot of kind of the separatist. I like the whole politics of that. I like the whole kind of secession movement, if you will. But I think Darth Maul would have been a kind of a cool and worthy bad guy to keep around to learn more about, you know, because just being in one movie, he's basically just like a bad guy with face tattoos who swings two lightsaber or double-sided lightsaber. There's not much to him. He's pretty goddamn shallow, right? So I would have liked to see him kind of stick around. But yeah. Anyway, cool question though. I appreciate that, Chris. All right. Seems like every since I was gone for like 15 minutes, everybody jumped off. I understand. I was gone for too long. All right, cool. All right, the next question comes from Mark. Mark says, have you made modifications to your helmet to make it more comfortable over the years? Ooh, not over the years, no, Mark. I made a modification when I first built it. I actually bought, it's like a motorcycle helmet liner that you glue. It's a two-piece thing, so you glue it's Velcro. You glue one side to the top of the helmet, the sides and the back, and then the other is just in there. So it's a liner that you can take out and throw in the washer, keep in, whatever. So that's really the only thing that I have in my helmet for comfort. And I don't really have room for anything else, to tell you the truth. I could put a little fan in there, but I don't wear it enough in terms of like trooping and outside and stuff like that to justify putting a fan in there. Because I actually have a voice modulator. I have a voice box with a headset that I put in there that takes up most of the room. I haven't used that in a couple of years though. So no modifications over the years, but when I first built it, I did put like a motorcycle helmet liner in there, and that has definitely made it more comfortable, but more importantly, it's made it more snug to my head, because before that, you know, your head is just basically on plastic and it's just slipping and sliding. There's no friction. It just so the helmet liner definitely helped for sure. I appreciate that question, Mark. It's kind of I like those all over the place questions. I dig it. And the next question comes from Star Wars Media. Hey Greedo, hopefully things are going well for you. As a longtime follower of the channel, I have always been curious what your long-term plans for the channel are. Are you planning to keep things going as long as the passion and the satisfaction is still there in you? I have always appreciated the insightful content you have put out the last few years. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the kind words. So long-term plans for the channel. I've never really been much of a planner. I usually just kind of fly by the seat of my pants, and I aim to not make this feel like a job. I've always wanted to just make it continuously fun, and if I ever get a little burned out, you know, I don't want to not have the option to kind of let go a little bit. And there's been times where I've let go a little bit, and I kind of focus more on freelancing, and I kind of send out some emails and see if anybody needs any work. But that's ultimately been my goal, Media, is to do this for fun, for a passion. If people want to support this passion, I appreciate the ever-living fuck out of it, because, you know, the channel wouldn't exist without your support. It wouldn't. But I've always wanted it to be more of a passion project than feel like it's a obligation. Does that make sense? It is my number 1 love when it comes to the things that I do. But it's easy to get burned out, right? It's easy to get burned out doing no matter what it is. Something that you love even. It's easy to get burned out. So, like I said, I try to balance, keep a good balance between other stuff that I do, Greedo stuff, and family. And right now I'm at a pretty happy balance between all everything. But I've been out of town and kind of crazy this past couple of weeks, so I want to get back into the swing of things with Greedo. I haven't really streamed much the past couple of weeks. I haven't really uploaded a lot of this kind of stuff that I want to upload the past couple of weeks either, so I'm going to try to get back to the swing of things. Anyway, I don't really have many long-term plans, man. I just always try to get that balance down, you know? Because like I said, if I tried to put out a video a day, if I tried to just continuously chase this carrot, if I tried to burn myself out, then this would stop being fun, and it would start feeling like an obligation. It would start feeling like a job. And when it starts feeling like that, that's when I want to let go, and that's when I've lost, you know? I feel like that's when, it has to stay fun. It has to stay fun. That's the biggest, for me, that's the biggest priority. It has to remain fun. Yeah. Because I can absolutely see how some people just burn themselves out or end up talking about the same shit over and over again, and I just can't imagine it's fun. You know what I mean? Anyway, I appreciate that, media. The next question and final question on Patreon comes from James Beveridge. Greedo, glad to hear that you had fun at both EA Play and Galaxy's Edge. With that said, if you were to go back, what do you think they might add? Or rather, what would you like to see added to Galaxy's Edge? Thanks for all you do. Ooh, interesting. How about taken away from Galaxy's Edge? Some of the, there's these... Sometimes they try too hard to be Star Warsy, right? There's these... The best example of this is the sporks, the fork spoons that they have. They're super sci-fi, but they look neat, I suppose, but they're the most impractical piece of kitchen hardware you could ever want to eat with. That kind of shit. Like, I get it, you're trying to be spacey, you're trying to be sci-fi, you're trying to be Star Wars, but just give me a regular fork, man. What do I want them to add? Nothing particularly jumps out at me, man. Like, I'm pretty happy with the way it's set up. I didn't really care for the ride. I would love to see the new ride, Rise of the Resistance. I don't really know what that's going to be all about and what it's going to be like. Yeah, nothing in particular, to tell you the truth. Like, you know, I'm the biggest original trilogy fanboy shill asshole ever. And you would think that all I would want is original trilogy stuff in this park. But no, I like what they've set up better, because it's kind of a continuation of the story. It's kind of like the moment in time where we're at in the saga. It's a living, breathing world. And if you just had a mashup of different eras in this park, it would feel fucking goofy. It wouldn't feel cohesive. What they've done is taken a snapshot of time on Batuu in the time of the Resistance and the First Order, and they've taken this snapshot and they've made it into a living, breathing world, and I love that. Way better than having an OT ride, a prequel ride, a bunch of fucking random characters walking around. It would feel like a circus. It would feel like a Six Flags rather than a Disney park, because it would be a mess. So I wouldn't really change anything when it comes to Galaxy's Edge. I would change the ride, though. The ride didn't do much for me. I would maybe scrap that whole interactive thing, unless you just want to be the pilot, or make the interaction optional, or change the interactive buttons to where they're not on the left side of you anymore, where they're in the front of you, because it just makes way more sense. But yeah, I appreciate that, James. I don't know. I don't know what I would want added. Maybe more characters walking around. I was there for about 2.5, 3 hours, and I only saw Ray from a distance. Maybe I was just at the wrong spot at the wrong time, just walking around, and I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the right spot. Yeah, could be. But I never saw Kylo. I never saw. Well, I don't know what other characters they have walking around, to tell you the truth. But yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, guys, is that all the Patreon questions? Nice. All right, well, I gotta hop off. Let's see. Tomorrow, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Monday, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I should be able to do a stream every night this week. I believe so. If not at night, I should be able to do at least get a stream a day. And I'll try to knock out a Bloodline review as well as some Battlefront stuff that I wanted to talk about. And I still haven't set up my green screen in this office, in this room. So I might try to do that tomorrow. There's just so much shit I have to do. Like, I keep thinking, oh, I can make some videos tomorrow, but then I think of all this other shit that I gotta do. God. Me. Stretched too thin, man. Stretched too thin. We gotta send over like 400 pictures tonight to a client. Send an invoice. Gotta love it. Lord, hope you're in, you enjoy your evening, Greedo. Any chance you could come on the Discord maybe later or in the next few days? Yeah, next few days, not tonight. Let me see. Next few days, Tuesday. I'm just trying to think what we got going on. How about I'm trying to think. I was gonna say Tuesday, but I feel like we got something going on Tuesday. All right, let's do Tuesday, and I'll hop on after I stream. How about that? I'll ask my wife if we have anything going on. I feel like we might, but maybe not. We'll shoot for Tuesday after I stream. How about that? It'll probably be like 8:00 p.m. by the time the stream's over, so Eastern time. So as of right now, let's just shoot for Tuesday. And if you could remind me on the stream on Tuesday to hop off, say you promised, Greedo. You fucking promised. And then I'll hop on there. But all right, guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. All the supporter questions, all the patronage. I can't even put into words how much I appreciate it, guys. I know I don't make as much content as I used to, and just to see, people still support the channel, it just blows me away. And so I appreciate everybody sticking around with me through all the ups and downs and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So I appreciate it, man. No, don't kidnap my kitty cats, man. All right, guys. Sully, Caleb, Devin, and Jai. Thank you for the super chats tonight, guys. And tomorrow I will be back. I downloaded X-Wing, the old flight sim. So I might see if I can get that to work on a stream tomorrow night. But we shall see. All right, guys. As always, have fun. Be nice. Kick some ass. And I will catch you all on the flip side. See ya.